The most dangerous person in your life might be the one who never raises their voice. Libra moves like silk, shaping your world with invisible threads, weaving charm, patience, and precision into something you don't see until it's already done. Behind that elegance are 15 hidden forces that can build you or undo you. Stay with me until the end, and you'll see the truth about Libra that only a handful of souls ever recognize, a truth that changes everything once you know it. In every myth, there is a figure who smiles while holding the fate of empires in their hands. They are never the loudest voice in the hall, never the warrior with blood on their blade. Yet somehow they are the ones who decide who will rise and who will fall. In astrology, Libra wears that crown, not of gold, but of silk. They do not need brute force to command. Their battlefield is the human heart, and their weapons are elegance, wit, and the unnerving ability to see into the deepest folds of your intentions. They arrive softly, like a change in the air. The voice that greets you is warm eyes, alert yet tranquil, every gesture measured as if rehearsed in some ancient theater of kings and diplomats. This is the first danger, the master of charm and social disarmament. A Libra knows how to win your trust before you have even decided to give it. They lean into the melody of your words, making you feel heard, understood, chosen. And when you feel chosen, you open your guard. Beneath this smooth exterior is the second danger, a strategic thinker hidden behind a friendly facade. A Libra is always calculating the layout of the room, the shifting currents of conversation, the invisible alliances forming around them. They are 3 steps ahead in every exchange, though they'll let you think you are leading. It's not dishonesty, it's artistry. The third danger is their expertise in reading people. This is not simply empathy, it's precision. A glance at your eyes, the tilt of your voice, the way your hand hesitates before a handshake, and they already know what you're protecting, what you desire, and what you fear. Once they have this knowledge, they wield it like a jeweler, cutting a rare gem, careful, deliberate, and with an awareness of its lasting value. In politics and history, in business, the most influential figures have not always been those who roared. Cleopatra did not storm gates, she opened them with her presence. Oscar Wilde did not need an army. His wit was his empire. Both carried the Libran gift. The fourth danger, weaponized diplomacy. They could make peace appear as an act of kindness, when in truth, it was an act of control. Libra influences without detection, the fifth danger. You do not see their hand guiding the wheel until the journey is already over, the destination fixed. They let you believe every choice was yours. And perhaps, in a way it was, but only because they were the ones who laid out the path. The elegance of their danger lies in its beauty. The sixth danger, beauty as power. Libras know that the human mind softens in the presence of symmetry, poise, and refinement. They understand how an immaculate appearance can serve as a shield and a blade at once. They use aesthetics not merely for vanity, but as a calculated form of persuasion. Yet all of this operates under a quiet, unshakable center. The seventh danger, their composure under pressure. When storms rage, a Libra does not flinch. They become the still point around which the chaos swirls. It's in that stillness that they make their move, and by the time the world notices, it's already too late. A Libra's presence is like standing before a perfect mirror, but not one that simply reflects. This mirror bends reality, reshaping it into what you most want to see. This is the eighth danger, the ability to manipulate perception. They can make you believe you are brilliant, desired, irreplaceable. And yet beneath the shimmer, they are collecting truths you never meant to give away. It is the art of illusion, not through deceit in the crude sense, but through curation. A Libra curates their image as an artist curates a gallery, selecting which parts of themselves you are allowed to see. They know instinctively that mystery is the most intoxicating perfume. And so while you're enchanted by their grace, you never notice the parts they keep hidden, the angles of the mind that calculate the shadows they keep folded away. This is why they are so often underestimated. People mistake elegance for passivity, mistaking diplomacy for weakness. But history tells another story. Eleanor Roosevelt wielded her Libran gifts to shape global policies under the guise of moral conversation. Mahatma Gandhi, though nonviolent, dismantled an empire with the balance and endurance of the scales. They remind us of the ninth danger charm in conflict. A Libra can confront without hostility, oppose without raising their voice, disarm without ever drawing a blade. In their relationships, they move with similar precision. They offer warmth until warmth is no longer strategically sound. This leads to the 10th danger, the silent withdrawal. When a Libra retreats emotionally, it feels like a garden suddenly stripped of sunlight. They do not slam doors, they simply step back and the absence becomes unbearable. They know that silence can be more punishing than any cruel word, and yet they remain adaptable, capable of stepping into any circle without detection. The 11th danger, the social invisibility cloak. They can belong everywhere and nowhere at once, blending with scholars, rebels, artists, or kings without ever revealing their full allegiance. This makes them impossible to pin down, impossible to fully claim. Perhaps the most dangerous quality of all is their patience. The 12th danger, dangerous patience. A Libra will wait quietly while the rest of the world burns itself out. They don't need to act in the moment. They act in the right moment. They understand the tides of human behavior and know that victory often belongs to the one who moves last. All of these dangers are born from their relationship to the scales, a devotion to balance that is as much a sword as it is a shield. This is the 13th danger, the dual nature of fairness. When they tip the scales in your favor, it feels like divine justice. But when they see imbalance in need of correction, they will move with precision that feels almost ruthless. In their hands, the quest for harmony is never passive. It is calculated, deliberate, sometimes even surgical. And though their methods are wrapped in silk, their resolve is forged in steel. The danger lies not in their desire for peace, but in what they are willing to do to protect it. The Libra archetype is the scales, that ancient image held aloft by Themis, the Greek goddess of divine order. But the scales are not static. They move, they tilt, they respond. And when a Libra senses imbalance, they do not simply observe, they act. This is the 14th danger, calculated justice. Every action they take in response to wrongness is measured not in seconds, but in consequences that can ripple for years. It is tempting to see them as seekers of peace in the most gentle sense. Yet peace to Libra is not the absence of conflict, it is the result of an equation. They are willing to remove pieces from the board to achieve equilibrium, even if that means dismantling an entire structure you thought was untouchable. They are the architects of serene exteriors, built upon carefully orchestrated shifts of power. In history, we see this through leaders who wielded influence without the theatrics of aggression. Catherine the Great, a Libra, expanded her empire with calculated alliances, charm-driven diplomacy, and a mind that rarely acted without a grand design. This is the Libran paradox, the person who seems to move softly but leaves seismic changes in their wake. And yet their most disarming quality is the finality of their decisions, the 15th danger. Libras may deliberate, weigh, and seek every perspective before acting. But once they have chosen, their verdict is immovable. It is as if the scales have locked into place. No pleading, no persuasion, no display of emotion can change their course. In that moment, they are not the soft diplomat. They are the judge delivering the sentence. This dual capacity to charm and to sentence, to seduce and to sever, is what makes them dangerous in the purest, most refined sense. They will fight for you with the same intensity they will fight against you, and in either case, you may never see the shift coming until it is already here. Libra's danger is amplified by their element air. Unlike fire, which burns visibly, or earth, which builds slowly, air moves unseen. It shapes clouds, carries seeds, erodes mountains over time. You do not see the air coming for you. You only feel its effect. This is how a Libra moves in the world, subtly, but with undeniable impact. Psychologically, they play the role of the mirror and the architect. They show you your reflection, then quietly redesign the environment around you until it supports their vision of balance. They are not reactive, they are intentional. Even their kindness is strategic, not false, but deeply aware of how compassion can be the most persuasive force in the human experience. And this is where the mythic danger lives, because Libra can make you believe that every step you take is your own idea, even when it was placed there delicately by their hand. They will never push you to the edge. They will simply guide you toward the place where you choose to step over it yourself. And by then, the balance they sought will have been restored, and they will walk away without a ripple left on the water. If Libra is ruled by Venus, it is not the Venus of soft romance alone, but the Venus of strategy, the goddess who knew that beauty was not merely an ornament, but a force capable of shaping destinies. In Libra, Venus manifests as persuasion, refined into an art form. This is the psychology of persuasion, the invisible current pulling ships toward the harbor without a single wave breaking the surface. They rarely raise their voice because they understand that influence is not about volume, it's about resonance. A Libra can phrase an idea so that it slips past your defenses and plants itself in your mind, as though you thought of it first. This is the diplomat's magic, planting the seed without leaving fingerprints. And because their delivery is laced with elegance, the seed is rarely questioned. Consider the legendary figure of Talleyrand, the French diplomat, often regarded as one of the most cunning political minds in history. Though not a Libra himself, he embodied their essence, wielding charm, like a scalpel turning enemies into allies, and chaos into advantage. Libra carries that same gift, only theirs is often underestimated because it wears the attire of grace. But persuasion is not always benevolent. Libra can just as easily shape a room to their own vision, knowing exactly which alliances to nurture and which rivalries to feed. They can pit two forces against each other without ever appearing involved, walking away as the one trusted by both sides. This is not cruelty, it is precision. In their mind, balance is maintained not by avoiding conflict, but by guiding its outcome. They understand the human need for beauty, for harmony, for validation, and they can use these as instruments. A compliment placed at the perfect moment can shift loyalties. A pause in conversation can create tension that forces a reveal. Even the way they arrange their surroundings, the symmetry of a table, the softness of lighting, is a silent extension of their influence. In love, this can be intoxicating. Libra knows how to make another person feel seen in ways no one else has managed. But this very gift can also become the most dangerous snare, because once you have tasted that reflection, you may not want to return to your own unenhanced image. They can become the lens through which you define your worth, and when they choose to withdraw it, the absence is shattering. It is here that Libra's Venusian gift reveals its double edge. The same power that can build you into your most confident self can also unmake you with the quietest of departures. They know that the most lasting shifts are not caused by force, but by altering the very way a person sees themselves and the world. In this, Libra's persuasion is not a tool they use occasionally. It is their way of breathing in the world, inhaling the chaos, exhaling the form it should take. And in that breath, destinies are rewritten without the need for a single visible blow. Every garden has its shadows, and in Libra's garden, the roses are fragrant, but the thorns are deliberate. Love for them is never only about affection. It is also about alignment, about how the union shapes the larger equilibrium of their life. This is why they can be both the most healing and the most devastating partner. Their love can be a force that lifts you into your highest self, or it can slowly pull you into a quiet erosion where the withdrawal of their light feels like winter arriving too soon. When a Libra loves, they observe. They notice the words you don't say, the pauses that reveal hesitation, the small fractures in your confidence. They will often try to mend those cracks, but their ability to do so gives them a subtle power, and they know it. They understand the magnetic pull of being someone's safe place. This is why their affection feels almost enchanted. You sense not just love, but a sanctuary. But if harmony is disrupted beyond what they can tolerate, their energy changes. They won't explode. They will withdraw. And here lies one of their sharpest dangers. Their absence cuts deeper than their presence ever could. To lose the attention of a Libra is to lose the quiet music that once played beneath your days. They do not slam the door, they simply stop opening it. And in that silence, the mind begins to unravel. This is not cruelty for cruelty's sake. Libra is above all strategic, even in matters of the heart. They know when a connection feeds growth and when it anchors decay. If they leave it, is rarely on impulse. They have weighed the choice, imagined the ripple it will create, and chosen their moment with surgical care. It is this combination, deep intimacy and deliberate detachment, that makes them so difficult to recover from. They can bind you with tenderness, yet vanish without malice, leaving you to wonder if the garden was ever truly yours. And perhaps that is the most dangerous truth about loving a Libra. You may never be certain how much of them you actually had. In mythology, this is reflected in stories of figures like Persephone, who moved between worlds, the blooming fields above and the shadowed underworld below. Libra too knows how to exist in light and shadow, offering warmth when the season calls for it, retreating into cool distance when balance demands it. Even in friendship or alliance, this pattern holds. A Libra can be the most loyal confidant until the moment their trust tips. Once that threshold is crossed, their retreat is absolute. They will not wage war against you. They will simply remove the bridge between you. And without that bridge, the distance becomes permanent. And yet, paradoxically, this is part of why their connections can be so profound. Because when they are present, they are fully present. Their commitment is not casual, and their withdrawal is not impulsive. It is the manifestation of their deepest principle, that balance is sacred, and anything that threatens it will eventually be excised. There comes a point when the scales can no longer sway, when Libra has listened, weighed, considered every angle, and the air still hangs heavy with unresolved imbalance. That is when their final power emerges. This is the final judgment. It arrives not in a storm, but in a silence so precise it feels fated. They speak, and in that moment, the path ahead crystallizes with a clarity that allows no turning back. This is not the voice of impulse. This is the verdict of one who has observed every move, every motive, every unspoken current beneath the surface. They know that once the scales have locked into place, the decision is no longer a choice, it is an inevitability. And when they act, they do so with a calm, so absolute, it can be unnerving. It is here that all their dangers converge, the charm that softened resistance, the strategic patience that waited for the perfect moment, the mastery of perception, the dual nature of fairness. They have been preparing for this point long before anyone else realized there was even a trial underway. And when they deliver their judgment, it is cloaked in fairness, yet the effect can be absolute, reshaping the terrain of lives, as though the earth itself had shifted. In the courtroom of life, Libra is the judge who understands that true justice is never rushed. They are the architect who knows which stone to remove to bring down an unstable wall. They are the artist who knows that the final stroke of the brush changes the entire painting. Yet beneath all this danger lies the reason for it: Libra's devotion to harmony. Not the shallow harmony of smiles and handshakes, but the deeper, more demanding harmony that requires honesty, courage, and sometimes loss. They will protect it at all costs, even when protection means transformation that others are not ready for. It is why their presence is magnetic, their absence haunting their choices unforgettable. A Libra in their fullest power is not someone you simply meet. They are someone you are altered by. Whether they build you or dismantle you, you will emerge different, sharpened, refined, and marked by the echo of their influence. Perhaps this is why they are called dangerous, not because they wish you harm, but because they cannot be swayed from the path they believe is right. Their kindness can save you, their justice can unmake you, and their balance can reveal truths you never wanted to see. So if you find yourself in the presence of a Libra, whether in love, in rivalry, or in alliance, remember that you are standing before the scales, Every word, every choice, every silence is part of a design. And when the final judgment comes, it will not be loud or cruel. It will simply be inevitable. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would the scales reveal about you? And if you feel the weight of that question settle in your chest, share it. Let your reflection meet theirs. Speak your truth in the comments below. Subscribe for the stories the stars are still waiting to tell. And join this circle of those who dare to see and be seen by the light of the cosmos.